Arizona was not stepped on by Al Qaeda. ISIS didn't invade Texas. Your family's not being threatened by the Taliban in Mississippi. Rico.toro. La familia. A lot of weirdos. Weirdos in Sosua. This is more about personality types and certain behaviors. Stop walking down Pedro Sante holding hands with putas. We'll come back to that one. So, having dinner last night with some friends, and we're laughing, having fun, not obnoxious, and I'm thinking about like one or two other dudes that, often, go have dinner with sometimes, not always out drinking, just sometimes like to go have dinner, have my meals with different friends. And one particular character, he brings weirdos or collects weirdo friends that, sometimes are visiting short time, sometimes they stay here a long time, sometimes they live here. The type guys that I've never seen them laugh. I've never heard them say anything or made anyone else laugh at the table. I mean, we're not all, life and times are not all giggity, giggity, giggly, giggly, wiggly, but it's just weird to me, be in paradise under any terms and not be smiling some, laughing some, or making others laugh some. These guys are like, the price of tea in Syosset, New York is high. Global warming. The tide is high in North Carolina. The girl wanted more money. Like just weird, like dudes with no personality whatsoever, really. And, I don't know. I had to give them a violation for just being boring sometimes. Why not? I don't continue to see a girl if she's boring, no matter how wonderful, the cardio sessions are, or how pretty she is. She's boring, she gets a violation, and so, and then you got that other kind of weirdo that, he's walking down the street. I'm not judging. I'm not saying anything they're doing is wrong. When I refer to people as brothers, it has nothing to do with race, has nothing to do with skin tone. So don't make it a thing like that. It's a if the shoe fits, wear it kind of thing. If it applies to the people at hand, maybe some of y'all are watching, then it applies. I'm not coming down on nobody. This is just my observations. Some of it's advice, but this time, mostly it's observations. It's just entertainment, if you will. So, you got the guy that he's walking down Pedro Sante with the girl all tight and snug and tucked under his arm. And she's like, she could care less. And, he's like he's not doing that for her. She doesn't feel any better or worse. She doesn't feel at all, possibly. She may not, probably don't give a damn. But he's doing that for his own insecurities, even though he may be with a pro. Like, he's afraid she's going to run off. I got to hold her tight so she can't run away. All right. And then you got those guys that we were talking. This is another thing we're talking about. The guys that take the little favorita or the boo, that they met the night before, be it an Envy or the casino or Roomba or Bar Central, or anywhere, and they take them to the beach, and he doesn't speak hardly really any Spanish. She doesn't speak really any English. And they just sit there like looking at each other with blank looks all day. And, she's just sitting there like in La La Land. Okay, so I'm going to get this money from this gringo. I got to pay the house, the babysitter, the lights. Paga la casa, paga la luz. She's just already spending the money, thinking about it. When he looks at her, she just, a little soft smile, translation. I'm good, I got all day. She ain't got nothing else to do, on your dime. And, they sit there all day, like 7 hours at the beach. Hardly 5 words exchanged between them. It's a weirdo, if you can't communicate and you just, I don't know, it's just a weirdo. You can't communicate, but you want to keep somebody up under you or across from you all day like that you can't communicate with at all. There's absolutely no banter, no like he-in or just a little bit of friendly, playful activity or whatever. Weirdo. And then you got the guys that have never had exotic punani anywhere in the world or in the States or Canada, Europe. They've never had a woman outside of their race, outside of their skin tone, outside of their complexion, and they've never had that. So, these might be the guys that were looking at National Geographic magazines when they were young, like dreaming, will I ever get one like that? And I'm not saying that to be offensive to the women. I'm saying that just for the contrast, because these are the guys that beauty is subjective, in the eye of the beholder. We get it. But I'm talking about the guys that never had anything exotic. They maybe didn't grow up with any in their town, in the Midwest or in Tennessee on the mountainside. So they come down and get the most off the wall, out of this world, extremely as extreme can get, exotic thing, as far away from their skin tone or their background as possible. It's like, they don't like, they just like go right to that because they've never had anything, like I say, anything is exotic to them except for, the gravy girls or whatever they had, in their area. So that's those weirdos, and Tell you all about the weight classes. I'm not using, this is all my original stuff. You know, we got the weight classes of the ladies, all right? It's like boxing, you know? Start off with like the featherweights or whatever, which I say that's like the pequeña princesses. You know, they're short, tiny, flaca. If you don't know what flaca is, you know, I mean, coming here a while, it means thin or skinny. So they got the real little ones, the pequeña princesses that are like 4'11", and pequeña princesses. All right. And then we come up, we got the sexy flaquitas. They might be a little taller, 5'2", 5'4". Just nice, slim, tight bodies, sexy flaquitas. And then we got the loosey-gooseys. You know, they're fairly thin, but nothing's really tight, nothing's really popping. More kind of sort of a traditional body type, you know, and you know, and then they kind of, you know, also along you call them a goofy body is what I call them. You know, they look sort of lazy, like, you know, they're not eating well, they don't go to the gym or anything, you know, but in clothes they look okay, but like I say, nothing's really popping. You see them bikini or anything. It's not thick, it's not thin, it's just, you know. So, you know, the loosey-gooseys, goofy bodies. And, you know, we got the chubbies and lovelies, which, you know, the pretty face, kind of thick body. Maybe she got a little extra stomach, though. You know, the chubbies and lovelies. Then we got the chunky and funkies. Chunky and funkies. Those are the ones that the stomach is as big as their ass. And, you know, they're super heavyweights. Nothing more need to be said about that. So, you know, I'm going to go back to the very first part of this video. Well, I'm going to save that part. But I'm going to go, you know what? The hand holding thing. We don't got to do that. Men are supposed to lead, you know? Problem is, most men, when they're holding hands on Pedro Casante with a pro, and I'm not going to use, you know, I'm not going to use other people's terminology. I'm not going to, you know, I'm not going to give them cute names anymore. Holding hand with a professional, it looks like the ladies are leading the man. Can't do that. Can't do that. No. If you look at how most Dominican men walk with the women, you know, the young ones walk in front with their chest out like, sígame, soy hombre. You follow me, I lead. You look at the old school Dominicans, you know, they're on that chivalrous tip a little bit. You know, they'll hold their hand maybe, but they'll lead. Or, you know, as, you know, one of my friends says he likes it this way, and I kind of agree. He says, you know, if you must walk together like that, you put your arm, you put the woman's hand on your arm, like, hold on. You lead, you know, you're leading, you know, here she's with you more because she's with you, not because you're afraid to let her go. I just think, you know, that's just my opinion. You know, everybody's going to do what they're going to do. There's no right or wrong. Just my opinion, you know. You know, it's just entertainment. Sometimes comedy, stuff I see and talk about, you know. And we got, it was before COVID, but it's a little bit of a serious thing to me down here now. You know? And this is what I meant in the very beginning. Americans, Canadians, Europeans, just foreigners, extranjeros. Outside of Sosua, they don't really use the term gringo as much. They will call you an extranjero out of respect. But foreigners from other countries, except with the exception of Haitians, we come here for vacation or to live here by choice. It's an option. You know, there's no like, I can't get a job in the States, so I come to DR for work. There's no, Baghdad, my hometown was blown up like Baghdad. I mean, there's some violent places in the States, we all know, but, there's no, my family, like the terrorist organizations are beating down my family's door, no one is forced to come here. Therefore, if someone comes to live here or stay here long term, and they are ill prepared to do so, they are not the expat community's responsibility. They're not, there's nothing wrong with like, helping somebody out once in a while. And if you know that, their money's coming next week. There's nothing wrong with, if you're with a group of friends and one person, tells the others, well, if we go from the first place to the second place, my money's a little low, but I don't want to hold you up by coming back home for more money. Can you get me tonight? There's nothing wrong with that. And then the next night, the other friend might do the same for the other friend. Give and take, give and take, give and take. That's the key thing. But, for the most part, this doesn't affect how I live or how I move. However, there are those that, friends of mine that, have been, presented problems from some of the broken abroad. And, there are, I've done a favor or two for someone, that was temporarily down. But at the end of the day, it's not my responsibility. It's not anyone else's responsibility, but their own, to take care of themselves, And so, thanks again. Thumbs up, subscribe, rico.toro.